everybody, welcome back to the Gamers Lounge podcast. My name is John Meadows. With me as always is Eric, Dennis, and Nathaniel. See, this is what happens when I do a podcast on Friday with Danny. I mean, I almost said back to bits. I almost said Danny instead of Dennis. You know, it's like, here we go. I knew that was going to happen.
Where is he?
I knew that was going to happen. It's like, that's why I always skip them out a week at a time. It's too hard to keep things straight. So, and in my old age, I just can't keep things straight in my brain anymore. But yes, this is the regular Gamers Lounge podcast with Dennis, Nathaniel, and Eric. There we go. Now I feel better. I've done it correctly without stammering over my words. And now we can move on to better things and pretend like it never happened. But we'll start off like we always do with what we've been playing. Any cool things? Nathaniel, I see you're still playing Monster Hunter. What level are you? Do you remember?
I just passed the soft cap that is at like going to Hunter level 50.
Oh wow!
So I'm like 53 or something now. So well into the end game. I've been tempted to get Iceborne, but I've been holding off because I've been looking at like, hey, what you should do to prepare for Iceborne, like stuff that was before Iceborne came out, and then a few was like when PC came out, since it was later than the consoles, like. Here's what you really need to do. You can ignore this couple things. And I'd done some of it, but mostly I'm like, well, I want to do some other things before I get there. So I just today finished researching all of the base game monsters. Got an achievement for it. That was fun. I've gotten a bunch of like random like bits of gear crafted that I didn't have yet. I built my collection of weapons up. So I've now decided, well, other than a couple, I'm going to build pretty much every set of dual blades to the end of their tree. And I've got most of them. I've got one orange level one that I don't have yet because it has a rare drop I'm waiting on. But then I've got like, I think 5 or 6 like orange level ones. And they're all different elemental ones. So like, hey, if this thing's weak to fire, I'll pick my fire blades. Or this one's weak to dragon damage, I'll pick these. The ones that I like for that are these ones that are like these giant claws. So like you have like these giant claw hands on your back, and then whenever you like ready your weapon, unsheath it, instead of like 2 swords or daggers in your hands, it's like you're just wearing giant claws and you're just like claw things. It's great.
That's cool.
It's fun.
How much is the expansion? $20? $30?
The expansion is $40 regular price, but by all accounts it's like just about as long of a campaign as the base game, and then plenty more end game after. It's like 30 something new monsters, a bunch of weapons, new mechanics to it where you have like a kind of a grapply hook thing that you can hook onto monsters with, and so there's like a lot in it. But I'm just like, I'm almost there.
Maybe by the time you're there it'll be on sale, so
maybe. I mean, I don't know. It doesn't matter. I've put so much into it now that spending $40 on it is like, okay, sure.
Steam
my
summer
130
sales.
hours that I've got past now is like, I've gotten way more than my money's worth in the game already, even if I bought Iceborne and didn't do anything with it.
Right. Yeah. Well, Steam sales right around the corner. So
true. I should wait for that.
Yeah, that shouldn't be long. So,
but yeah, like that game is so much fun. Especially there's like some of the like later game monsters that have a bit more of stuff that you have to worry about than just like, oh, I'll hit it for a while. You have to like learn their moves a lot more and dodge certain things, and like they have some big attacks that will like one shot you if you don't have the gear for it. And even if you do, like if you've been like hit a little bit before then and you get caught at it and then like, oh crap, you're dead. Like the way it works is like in any given kind of mission or whatever that you go off on, you have like a set number of respawns. And then some of the ones like it'll lower that to make it a little bit harder. Like, oh, if you faint once, then it's over. Or if you faint twice, then it's over. I think typically it's usually about 5 for just kind of standard missions or something. But a lot of kind of the investigations that I've been doing, it's a different kind of like mission type basically. So you have like your assigned missions, which is all pretty much like the story missions. You have optional missions, which are some of them are side quest things, some of them are just kind of like arena fights, stuff like that. Then you have investigations that you generate by picking up the tracks of the different monsters as you're tracking them. It'll be like, hey, you get a new investigation, and it'll be like a specific monster or set of monsters. And the reason that those are really good is you get extra bonus rewards at the end of the quest, so you can get a lot more like parts for crafting things from it. So if you know, like, hey, this weapons need these things, then what you want to do is go do the investigations, because you'll get a lot more parts that way than you would just like typical stuff.
Right.
So I've been running a lot of those just so I can get all the parts I need to craft all these collection of weapons. I need to have like, you have a room. I wish I had like a weapon rack where you could put like all of your weapons out or something.
Yeah, that would always be cool. That's what I always wish they had in games like that. Someplace where you could, display stuff like that.
I mean, you have stuff like that. So you have all these different creatures that you could catch on the different maps and stuff. You can put them all around in your room. There's some other stuff you can do to customize it. I think Iceborne adds some more to this, but I haven't looked into it. But like whatever weapon you have equipped is sort of sitting on a rack when you go in there, but you can't just say like, hey, here's all of my weapons.
Right.
Look at them. They're cool.
Yeah, see,
there's not much of a reason to go into your room all that often, so it's kind of like, it's okay.
Yeah.
It's not that big a deal. Not as big a deal as like, hey, I want all these cool like armors that look neat or whatever. That's more what you're going to be seeing all the time than going into this thing you go into every once in a while.
Right. Yeah. That's cool. I need to play it. I've said this for 2 years now. I need to play it.
I'm at the point where I've done all of the. I probably would have tried it before, but I've done all of the like quests and optional quests up to like this final one. That if I beat it, I get like a special die object thing or something that cycles your armor colors or something. It's like the rainbow die, if I remember right.
Yeah.
I don't know. I could remember wrong, but it's like an arena fight against 4 different monsters. I was like, well, I'm doing this other thing first.
Yeah.
I want to get to it. There's so much stuff in that game that you can just be like, yeah, I want to do this. Okay, now I want to do that. I want to do that. Eventually, I'm going to get the schedules to line up. There's one of my friends who had it, and he played like 4 hours of it a while ago, and he picked it up the other day and played it for a little bit. And it's like, I have no idea what I'm doing. It's like, I'll play co-op with you, but we haven't lined up the schedules yet.
Yeah, that's hard. Even working from home, that's hard to do anymore.
I told him I should play co-op at some point, try it out, since I'm 130 hours plus now. Maybe I should try co-op.
Yeah, probably. Maybe. It might be nice. Of course, now you're going to be here and they're going to be.
Well, the good thing about the way Monster Hunter works is it's more like, okay, if you're co-op, once you get 2 people in there, the monster health goes up, but that's it. Yeah. If you get 4, it's still the same. But also, like, it's not tied to your character level like some other RPGs. Like, you get stronger with your character level. It's all gear. So I could just craft some, like, low-level trash gear to be a lot closer to where his level is, and then I wouldn't just be like, really tearing through things really quickly. Although, having gone back to get some materials to some lower rank quests, you can go through them quick, but they're not like immediate where I'm at yet.
Yeah. Of course, it's always fun to piggyback your friend through some stuff sometimes.
So maybe I'll just downgrade it halfway back with the gear or something. So I'm still like way more powerful than him. Or maybe I'll just use it to try new weapons. Who knows? I
will still never forget the time that my buddy played. I forget which Gears of War it was, if it was 2 or 3 before I did. And then like finally I was like, hey, I want to play it. Well, I've already beat it. I'm like, well, let me play it anyway. And he just piggybacked me through that whole game. He's like, okay, before we go into this, you need to do this and do this and do this. I've done it a dozen times. And then there was one spot he goes, now what I want you to do is I want you to back into the room. He goes, just walk backwards into the room. Walk backwards into the room? Why? Trust me. Walk backwards into the room. Okay. And whatever it was, it worked. But, it's like, he toted me through that whole game. It was like,
like walk backwards into the room. Now turn 90 degrees to your left to the electric slide for exactly 20 seconds. Like, how do I even do that in this game?
And he still brings that up from time to time when we're playing other games. It's like, remember when I had you back in that room and this thing because you had to do this? Like, oh my God, that was like 10 years ago. But yeah, I remember that. It's weird. It's very weird.
You can always troll people like that too, though.
Yeah.
Like, I love doing that where it's like, all right, yeah, go back into the room, and then just go into the corner and then just stand there.
Yeah.
Just stand there for a good 20 minutes. 20 minutes, yeah, just trust me on this. And then they stand there and you're just taking screenshots as they look like they're out of Blair Witch or something. Just right there, just in the corner, making fun of them.
I wish that's the way it was, but there was a specific reason why he wanted me to walk backwards into that room, and I don't know why it was.
But I've seen games like that where they have weird exploits where it's just like, because depending on mainly for older games, but I've seen games and like none really, like I can't really think of one off the top of my head, but I know I've seen them where it's just like where like you can walk using the backwards kind of method where it's like you're walking backwards into a room rather than just like a typical trigger point. Right. You have to like visually look at a certain place in order for something to spawn, something like that, and then you can sometimes bypass a certain thing, by not having it load.
Well, it's like some of the Call of Duty games, like in the campaigns, it's almost better to just like run through sometimes.
Yeah.
Instead of just sitting there waiting for the monster classes to just keep spitting guys at you. If you go through, you trigger the scripting and then suddenly you're at the next spot. Right.
And that's how a lot of speedrunning from Mirror's Edge works, where you can just literally run through the entire game rather than just waiting for fights to happen and enemies to show up. You just literally run to the end of the level. That's it. So
it was just hilarious though, because it was the first time I'd ever had somebody tell me to walk backwards into a room, and that was because we had to be. The fight worked better if you were in a certain position, but if you came in facing, you would trigger it immediately. Where if you walked in backwards, you could walk in and kite yourself around and then turn around and then bam, and you're in a good position. I don't remember which one it was though.
There's weird stuff like that in Warcraft too. I remember when I was playing World of Warcraft, they're just like, all right, when we do this raid, we got to come in from the right side. I know,
because you don't want to aggro this if you come.
Exactly. Exactly. Yep.
I remember those days, and then you had like Leroy Jenkins who just
all over the days.
That was, I don't remember, it was a couple of weeks ago, that was like the anniversary of that, and everybody was retweeting that. It's like, man, I haven't seen that in so long, but it was just hilarious. I'd forgotten how funny that clip was of everybody being so serious, and all of a sudden he's like, all right. Let's do this, Leroy.
That clip aged well.
Yeah, it did. It had been so long since I'd even thought about it. It was so funny, but yeah. So anything else to say, Nathaniel, before I
just one more thing. I just remembered. So I've been playing this game for a long time. 130 plus hours I passed today, and I finally discovered on the first map in the game that you get to, the Ancient Forest, the one that anybody who's never played Monster Hunter knows what it looks like because it's in all the trailers and all that.
Right.
There's a campsite that I totally hadn't unlocked on that map. That for the longest time I've had 3 on there and thought that's all there was. And then like, wait a minute, there's a 4th one. How come I never found that one? And I went there, I was like, oh, dude, it's this obvious thing where you just climb up a thing and go under a little, like, crawl space and boom, campsite. That would have made so many of these things so much easier. Could have spawned into the map closer to some of the stuff.
Right.
I've done stuff like that in tons of games. It was like in Jedi Fallen Order. I didn't unlock one of the quote-unquote companions because I walked right past, and it was right there on the first... I think it was the first level or the second level, and it's the cat. And all you had to do was just open up this thing, move the ball over, and the thing open, and then you had a cat companion. It's like, and I walked through that. I was in that area for like 3 hours the first time, walked right by. And then after I beat the game, I'm like, just dinking around. I'm like, oh, look, there's that character that I didn't unlock. That was weird. I walked past that a dozen times and never even thought anything about it. It's like, well, I got that achievement. Well, let's go on to something else.
God, I really hope they make a sequel to that game. Though.
Oh, they are. There's no way.
Oh, did they already confirm it?
Yeah.
Okay.
They said it was going to be a franchise. So.
All right. Good. Because Battlefront's not cutting it anymore.
Yeah.
So.
1, it made enough money, and 2, it's still Star Wars, so they're gonna put one out.
Yeah.
Like if it's Star Wars and well received at this point, why would you not make a sequel to it?
Yeah, but you never know because there's that one. Was it 1313 that just never
got canceled?
But that never actually came out, right? So
that came out because Lucasfilm.
It's a game that came out and made money.
Yeah.
Therefore, we can do a sequel to it.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Yeah.
And now after watching the Clone Wars final season that they brought out on Disney Plus, I really wish they'd brought out that 1313 game because like the first 3 or 4 episodes of that season takes place in 1313. It's like, man, that would have been a really interesting game.
Nice timing.
Yeah.
I mean, there's several like Star Wars games that could have been interesting that got killed by EA, so it's not the only one.
No,
that was a LucasArts one though. So, but still, like, I'm sure there's other ones we don't even know about. But yeah, the ones, there's a lot of Star Wars games that we got a lot of info or rumors about, knew they were being made, that got killed off. That were you find out more about later. That you're like, oh, come on.
Yeah, it's. Yeah, when when Disney said we're doing everything, we're not doing any games in house anymore. That just well, whatever. That's I could complain about that crap for.
And I can agree.
Well, that's why we never got, and no one thinks about this game except for me. But there's that's why we never got another Split Second, because Split Second was made in house over at a Disney studio.
Game with all the stuff like falling.
One of my favorite racing games, and it just
very arcadey, like Blur.
Yeah,
that game was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was. Well, and that's how we got these. That's how Disney made these toy box toys for Marvel. These are unused Disney Infinity designs, and
that's a Disney Infinity design.
Yeah,
and then they just blew it up to that size.
Yep,
the Infinity ones weren't that big, were they?
No, they weren't. They made it that big. They added articulation. They added, and they're called Disney Toy Box. And they have them in all the Disney. These are actually unused. The first series of these are unused Disney Infinity designs. If I set, like I have Thor here, if I had my Thor Disney Infinity figure, I could set them next to each other and they would look almost identical. Except it's got, the one I have has a helmet on it, but I mean, it's the same cartoony, blocky style. Yeah, that's exactly. This is where they got it from. So that's what they've done with all the unused Disney Infinity designs. They just made toys out of them. See, there's Captain America with these.
It makes sense to me.
Yep.
You got all these designs just sitting there. Might as well turn them. Sell at least enough toys to make enough of a profit, I'm sure. So.
Yep. So
I have a bunch of Disney Infinity figures, and like I didn't realize they were, because they're like half that size in actuality.
Yeah, they're half that. So they just took them, blew them up, and made action figures out of them, and they've made a buku loads of money because I think I bought these on sale for, I think it was buy one get one free or something like that. So, but I mean, normally they're like $15 a figure or something like that. So
that's wild.
Yeah, because I follow a lot of the old Disney Infinity artists online, and they're like, look, my design finally came out, but it's in an action figure, it's actually a toy instead of just a weird figure of a toy.
Are those still scannable or no? Those are just
no, these are just
chips in them, right?
Well, these don't have anything in them. These are actual children's action figures.
Okay.
Yeah, they're just
okay.
Yeah, because I mean, they have articulation. You can move their head up and down. I can take this cape off of him, and
that's really cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's he's got all the figure things you can want. But I mean, they're Disney Infinity. They're this one. I know the first series of them, the Star Wars and the Disney and the Marvel, were all based off of Disney Infinity. I don't know how many series they're into it, because like I said, I just bought these on a whim a year or two ago that were on sale. Because I was still mourning that Disney Infinity was not around. So.
I still have all mine, and like I was thinking about, I mean, it's basically a paperweight at this point, right? Like even if you boot it up, it won't even get you started in like there's not even local to let you do. It's just
you can still play. No, you can still play the game. Oh yeah,
question.
Yeah,
that's a good question, because I wanted to get either Disney Infinity for the Wii for my niece and nephews, or Skylanders.
There's an offline campaign that you could play. Yeah.
Okay, I was lied to then, because for some reason Disney made it seem like once it's done, because you have to connect to their servers in order to get online. Or not online, but in order to just get into the toy box itself.
Oh, the toy box. Now I don't know about the toy box, but I think the toy box you don't have to connect online unless you want to play with people.
Because I got a bunch of figures and campaigns I haven't done yet that I was like, because I was thinking about this the other day of like I have it on PS4, Xbox One, Wii U, whatever. I bought them over and over again for some reason because when they were clearancing them out, I was just like, I'll take one for each system.
Yeah, they're like $2. It's like, why not?
Yeah, exactly.
It's like,
I was like, all right, I'll take the one with the Brave figures, and I'll take the Star Wars ones, and I'll take the Marvel one, and then I'll take that one, and it was just an easy way to get all the figures really quickly.
You could still play. You could still play the campaign, and you could still play the campaign co-op. Now, the toy box you could probably play, but there's some stuff you won't be able. If you have to connect online, you may not. But I don't even know. I haven't booted up the toy box, but I think I've got it on my PS4 still. So
gotcha. Because that was one of those few games where I was just like, man, like this is like that was like the time where, like, especially when the Toys of Life was all the craze back then with that, and Skylanders especially. Skylanders is what really blew up, but I wasn't really into that. But Disney Infinity was the one that kind of opened my eyes of just like, okay, I get this now. This is really cool with all the, I mean, you're basically buying physical DLC, with all the toys and the campaigns and whatnot. But when they started clearancing them out, I was just like, I mean, you're basically giving me the season pass for $5. Yeah, okay. I'll buy all these figures. Yeah, granted, it's DLC that's taking up space at this point.
Well, and I had bought them. I'd bought all the ones that I wanted when they came out because, they were kind of hard to find. I think the only one that I didn't get that they clearanced out was I think I wanted was it the Dora or the Finding Dory or whatever it was?
Yeah, I didn't get that one.
I didn't get that one. I couldn't find it.
Finding Nemo?
Yeah, there was a Finding Nemo. I think it was Finding Dory.
Finding Dory. I didn't get a chuckle.
Yeah, so...
I do not recommend that game though. On the Vita, I bought it on Vita also.
Yeah,
man, that's the only cool thing about it was the Vita version came with a wireless, little like scanner dock thing, which was really really cool via Bluetooth. And I always wondered why the consoles ones didn't do that. They always had to have you use a USB slot for that.
Yeah, I don't know. The only reason I bought it was because it came with the symbiote Spider-Man figure.
That's right.
And it was $5, and I was like, I just wanted the figure.
That's right.
Same reason why I bought the collector's edition of Disney Infinity 2 for $10, just because it came with that great big diorama with the ice monster from Avengers. So
that's right.
So that's the only reason I bought it, was because of that big old diorama, which is setting right up here. That's why I can't reach up and grab a Hulk.
On Vita, I mean, that thing ran. You think if you take the worst Switch port you've seen, the worst one, and compare that to Disney Infinity on Vita, and I promise you, that thing will look like a masterclass compared to Disney Infinity on Vita, because that game just did not run very well. I appreciate the ambition, but it was just not designed for handhelds. And then, and that's why they even skipped, I think that was 3.0 also, maybe 2.0 or 3.0, but 3DS only got 1.0.
Yeah, it only got 1.0. They only got the first one.
The Wii didn't get the 3.0. I think it only got the 1.0 and 2.0.
No, the 3.0 was on Wii U, I believe.
Wii U, that's right.
Yeah, my buddy has. He's like, I got Skylanders, a ton of them. He's like, I got Disney Infinity. He's like, whatever you want, I'll give you a great deal. I was like, all right, well, might be something fun for them.
The only Skylanders toy I want is the Bowser, the Bowser one where he's got I don't know, the metal armor on. That one looks so cool to me. I want that.
Yeah, it looked pretty neat. Yeah, I have a.
I remember it was hard to find some of those Skylanders too. Like you'd go to the store and they'd be sold out, and the rare one.
Yeah.
Disney Infinity figures. I mean, I don't think it ever hit the crazy expense levels, the Amiibos, but some of that stuff.
Right.
It's just nuts.
It's
crazy.
Some of them you could only get at Toys R Us, and some of them they were see-through, and some of them, it was so weird. But yeah, I've got all my Disney Infinity on. I've got 2 shelves on either side of my bookcase over there, and each shelf has 3. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 10. There's 10 shelves on each side. So, and they all have 3 on each side. So, however many.
Mine used to be on display. They're all in a box now, though. Just because I ended up getting so many figures, I was like, all right, you guys need to go. I don't really utilize you guys.
I guess I got close to 60 Disney Infinity characters. If there's 3 on each one, and I've got 10 or such 60. So
I'll have to count mine. I know it's a pretty full box though.
Well, and we got some of them for review. Near the end there, the last series of them we got for review too. So.
Right.
But yeah, so
I miss that stuff though. I wish they would do something like that with Amiibo. I feel like Nintendo would make a killing.
Yeah, I do too.
If they did something worthwhile, though, not like that Amiibo Festival Animal Crossing.
No, that thing never. No, that thing.
That nonsense,
crap.
Whatever that was, that like rip-off Mario Party.
Yeah.
I don't want to know. It sounds like deep-seated anger. Why? You promised us one.
Well, and when Animal Crossing came out, everybody bought it up because it was $5, and it came with 2 Animal Crossing Amiibos.
That's how I got it. That's how I have. Who did it come with? Was it Digby and Isabel? I think that's how I have them. Yeah. That's the only reason why, because I was just like, it just comes with a free game. I was like, okay, I'm paying $5 for Amiibo. That comes with a free game. It's a coaster. I'll use it for that.
Yeah, here's all my Animal Crossing Amiibos.
That's
nice little NFC chips.
I've never seen that before.
Yeah, I've never seen that, but yeah, I mean,
did you buy? I don't know if you might have answered this before. Did you buy those or did you make those yourself?
The ones I've got ones upstairs that I made myself. I bought the NFC chips off of. Yeah, well, no, that is the Amiibo thing that you could buy and you could scan on individually. But I made. Yeah, I made my own out of my work phone is an Android phone, and it has NFC in it, and you can download an NFC reader writer, and then you just buy the NFC chips, and you can write your own. You download the bins of the Amiibos, and you write your own on them. So I've got a stack of Animal Crossing Amiibos about this high. There's 50 of them.
I've only ever done it once, long time ago, with a 2 Amiibo. It was with Lucina and Palutena. For some reason, when they first came out, they were incredibly difficult to get, and I wasn't able to pre-order them either. So I had to do the read-write thing on my phone.
The internet.
Yeah, this is like a big kit thing. I've got a reader that you plug in, and then you put this little chip on it, and it's a rewritable chip. I forget what
I've been thinking about going back into it for the Animal Crossing.
Did you get that little device for review that you could store a bunch of Amiibos?
I've got that one too somewhere.
One that's like official that you can use for like the 2DS or the first gen 3DS.
Well, this one
very expensive.
Yeah, this one I can use it for any. This works on any. These will work on whether it's 3DS or 2DS or Wii U or Switch. This one will still work on it. But the trouble is with this one, you have to, you can only do one at a time. So you have to rewrite it, then go do it, and then go rewrite it, and then go do it. The other one was cool. I have it around here somewhere. It was cool because you could,
You could store them. You could store up to like 100 or 150.
You could store 150 on there, but you had no way of knowing which ones you had because there's just a button on the side. So you have to hit the button and scan it and go, okay, that one's not the one I want. What number did I put? So usually you had to keep track of what number this one was. Like if Tom Nook was number 4, you'd go 1, 2, 3, 4, then scan it.
There's like an Amiibo database somewhere, like a website. It's pretty great. You download all the bin files and whatnot too. It's pretty cool.
That's what I did with my phone, and I just made my own. Got the NFC chips off of Wish or Amazon or something. I don't even remember where I got them, but it was like $5 for like 50 of them. It's like for what I use them for, and I don't have to have a bunch of Amiibo sitting around. I'm all right with that. I mean, I like my Amiibo. I mean, I've got Fire Emblem Amiibo sitting here, but I don't need every Amiibo.
I always thought something like that would really appeal to me. Yet I never really got into it. But when we ever have yard sales again, I find a bin for a couple bucks, I'll pick them up. You never know.
Yard sales are in full swing here this weekend.
Still most of
Is everybody wearing their masks?
Oh, did I laugh out loud on that one? I'm sorry.
They're selling the masks.
Yeah, that's
probably cough too.
It's gonna be buying a lot more than just a couple of Amiibo. Tell you what, I'm gonna be buying some medical bills, stuff like that.
I don't know. Around here, it's not. We haven't had the crazy amount of cases. I mean, we've had 15. Total since this all started, and like 14 of them have been in nursing homes. So, we're not like, well, I was in Allegheny County when I was working. They had as many in Allegheny County as we had in the entire state. I mean, we've got less than 2,000, or maybe just a little over 2,000 in the entire state of West Virginia. So, we're spread out here, but nobody's wearing masks. We went to Walmart. We went to Walmart today, and like 2 weeks ago, was it last week or 2 weeks ago? We went to Walmart. most people were in masks. This week, it was like, nah, we're done. It's too hot. It's 90 degrees. It's over.
I know the feel though. It was it was on the flights. I mean, it was nice because it was on the flights. All the flights that I took were all required.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you.
Unless you were wearing a mask, like they were like, look, we can provide masks for you, but if you literally like refuse to wear a mask, you're not getting on this plane.
Yeah,
like just plain and simple.
Right.
But it got to the point where like the final flight on the way back home was. It was delayed by like 15 minutes because they had to cool down. The plane apparently had been sitting out there for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And this was had a layover in Texas at this point. So, I mean, Texas is going to be Texas, which is going to be, like an oven.
147 degrees with humidity.
Yeah. And that's on a good day, mind you. And it was burning in there. And then when they went in there, they're just like, all right, I think it's good enough now. And then like literally like the moment everyone walked in, they're just like, you calling this good enough? What?
Yeah.
Immediately, I was like, all right, well, I mean, if I'm going to be a microwave, tostito, so be it.
Nothing better than sitting next to a person with a mask on, sweating like a pig.
Right. And it was just a whole lot of sweating. I lost about maybe 10, 15 pounds on that flight, but that's besides the point. The fact of the matter is we tried to turn on the little, the planes usually have that little
air
the AC thing, air conditioning thing. My English isn't that good, but the air conditioning up there, and that was barely working too. It was just hot air. So like on top of just microwave, it was just like, we're going to air fry you as well. I was like, good.
Why didn't they just open a window? I don't understand. I mean,
just open a window.
Yeah, just open a window. I mean, it's no big deal. Put it in the back. Open one in the back, one in the front.
Yeah,
that'd be fine.
That's a fair point. That's a fair point.
I mean, it equalized out, right? I mean,
To be fair, when we were at about 30,000 feet, I did reach one of the doors, and apparently they told me don't do that. So
you don't want to even make it look like you're even looking to reach for a door. They kind of panic that way. Yeah.
Apparently that was not the way to get air, but it was a suggestion.
Do you want to find out who the air marshal is on the flight? Yeah, reach for that exit door. You'll find out real quick.
Air marshal, air conditioner.
Yeah, I mean,
you I know better than anybody else. Come on. Isn't this what you're here for?
Yeah. I hate flying in the summertime to hot places. I can't stand it. It's so miserable on a plane anyway, much less when it's 100 degrees outside and air doesn't work. And
it's not ideal. Especially with the way that I dress too. I'm always like in some like business casual clothing when I'm out. So I'm like, I got a dress shirt on. I usually always have jeans on as well. I don't have anything short. It's
jeans have been out of my repertoire since about April.
I thought you were going to say since last year.
No, well, it depends on the job. There for a while, it was I was wearing shorts 24/7. I'd come in, it'd be 3 inches of snow on the ground. Everybody's like, "You're wearing shorts?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm going to be working today. I'm going to be sweating. It's hot. I don't need pants. Thanks a lot. Move on." I look forward to non-jean weather. I just have business casual shorts. I don't
know what it is. It's like I'm allergic to it. I don't feel right every time I wear something short. I don't know. I haven't worn anything short since like I was like probably like beginning of high school. So it feels weird to me.
My dad was like that. He never wore shorts. Never saw my dad in shorts. It was like he always had slacks or jeans on, and it could be 150 degrees outside. And I'm like, no.
And that would be me. Yeah. If you ever saw me in like shorts, I mean, call the police because something's wrong. Like I'm being bribed.
He's escaped from the home.
It's my life is just going to turn into like a Hostel movie. It's something wrong. Something's very wrong if you ever see me like that.
Yep. I despise jeans and dress pants. Can't stand them. But
pants in general?
Pants in general, yes. I'm not wearing pants right now, but you would never know that because you can only see me from the waist down. But excuse me, I've got to go check something real quick. I'll be right back.
See, and for the people listening to this like via audio only, they'd be like, okay.
Yeah, well, I'm glad I only get that podcast on the download.
I didn't watch it live.
Yeah, nobody.
Yeah,
can't imagine. Why can't we get people to watch live anymore? Well, maybe it's because John's not wearing pants.
Yeah, that would be a big thing. See, if this was EA, also, it'd be like, this is DLC from the way.
Yeah, exactly. This is that would be a Patreon level. If we had a Patreon, that would be a Patreon level. But no, I've just been playing the same old. Animal Crossing, Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Still working on that. Not much to talk about that, but I did pick up the Mafia Trilogy, so I've been playing Mafia 2 Remastered.
Are they all out? Or
2 and 3 is out. Mafia 1 will be available, I think, in August, is what they said.
Because that's the one I want to play is Mafia 1, because that's a full-on remake, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's a full-on remake. And I wanted to play it too, but I also wanted to try to see what Mafia 2 Remastered looked like. So by the time you'd pay for... You could buy Mafia 1. You can buy them all separately, but like Mafia 1 was like $40. Mafia 2 was like $30. So it was like, well, I could just buy the trilogy for $60, and that's fine, because I think I think Mafia 3 is just Mafia 3. Because it was out on this end.
Yeah, I think they just give you the DLCs free now.
Yeah, I think that's it. So now, what's cool is if you own Mafia 2 on Steam, you get the enhanced version. You get that one for free. Like on my, I have it on Steam too, and they had it. They changed it over to the definitive edition or whatever they're calling it.
I bet it was in a humble bundle sometime or something like that, because there's a lot of people that have it. I bet it was like dirt cheap.
I don't know. It was always on sale during the Steam sales for like $5. So
it's $1.
Yeah. So, but I wanted to play it on Xbox One X. Since it was 4K and everything, and I am looking forward to 1, but I've played 2 a bazillion times.
Play 3 again.
I have not played 3 yet, so
I mean, I already slogged to get through it the first time. 2, I would love to play 2 again. I don't think I've ever finished 1.
I played 1 on the original Xbox, but it's been a long time. But Mafia 2 is, I don't know, it's a funny remaster. It looks better. They've done a lot of updating to certain things of it that make it a little better. Mostly in the cutscenes with the faces and the eyes. A lot of times in Mafia 2, you had the dead eye look. They were looking and their eyes were like... Now they actually focus on people when they talk, and, they have a little bit of emotion to them. But some characters are better done than others, which is weird. I don't know why they went that way. It's like, why didn't you do all of them like that instead of just certain ones?
Maybe they just got lucky on some of them, and some of them they didn't.
Maybe. I mean, maybe it was just... nothing they could do with them. I don't know.
I just checked my Steam library, and yes, I do have Mafia 2 in there, apparently.
Yeah.
And it gave me the definitive one. I was like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
I'll never play it.
It's worth booting up and just seeing how different it looks just once.
I don't care, because I played Mafia 2 for all of a few hours and said, nah, back in the day. So I was like, it was fine.
I remember, I really liked Mafia 2. I remember, Johnny kept telling me, you gotta get it, you gotta finish it. And I got it for PS3, and I played it, and I like the combat, the driving was good.
Yeah.
Because sometimes, with those open world games, you got the GTAs, you got the Saints Row, and then you got lots of crap. But Mafia 2 was definitely good. Yeah. The story was good. I thought the combat was pretty decent too.
Yeah, the combat's pretty decent, and they haven't done anything with the driving or the combat or anything. It's just more just a facelift of the graphics.
That's why I didn't really like Mafia 2, because by the time I played it, it was like I got it for $5 in a humble bundle or something. It was a very old game, and so I didn't have any did play it when it came out, so it's kind of like I'm not feeling it, so I just never finished it.
I do like the story of it, and even playing it now, it's after this will be my 4th time playing through it, I think, because I've played it on every platform at one time or another, because it's like, I'll just play. It's a quick play, So, but there's some weird things with the remaster, like there's weird glitches, just that. Where they have the fog coming out of a sewer grate or something that was in the original, and then all of a sudden you'll just see it go just like Matrix style, like it takes you out of the game, because it's like, oh wait, that's not really there. It's sometimes the lighting gets weird, and the one thing
when you get to the end of the game, you are in the Matrix.
Yeah, I know, right?
It's this weird thing that they just decided to do.
The one thing that I can't figure out, and I need to hook up, I use a Turtle Beach. I don't remember the model number. It was an expensive headset that I got it was very, very cheap at GameStop. That's all I remember. Anyway, it has a little amp that you turn the volume up on, and then you plug it into your optical out, and it's USB powered. And every other game, it's great. It works perfect. I can go into my app and on my phone and adjust sound and chat and everything like that. For some reason, on Mafia 2, all the cutscenes are in the left channel. Nothing in the right. So all the rest of the game is in stereo, except the cutscenes only come out of one ear. But I'll hear in the right ear, like if it's let's say it's in a restaurant, there's a lot of scenes before you go to jail, go to prison for a while, that take place in a restaurant. So you meet so-and-so in a restaurant, you go over what you're going to do, and then you leave. Well, you'll be sitting in the restaurant, and I'll be hearing them talk only in my left ear, while in my right ear, I hear plates clanging, I hear patrons talking and stuff like that. But it's really annoying, and I can't figure out why it does
channels.
Yeah,
that's so funny.
Yeah,
something on the sound engine's messing up there.
Yeah, and I've went online, I've looked and tried to search to see if anybody else is having the problem, because at first I thought it was my headset. I went, well, maybe I don't have my headset plugged in all the way, because there's a cable that runs from my headset to the amp, and then then the amp and everything's connected to the TV, USB and the thing. So I unhooked it from the TV, hooked it in the back of the Xbox, so it's going directly from the optical out and everything. So it's like, okay, well, maybe that'll work. Nope, it's still the same. Unplugged, plugged it, still, and it's like, okay, so it's something with the game. It's something with the game, because it doesn't do that any other place except for cutscenes.
Have you tried contacting the developer on Twitter just to ask?
Oh gosh, no, I haven't. I haven't.
Tweet out. I bet other people are having that problem. They might be like, "Oh, it's something this."
I don't know. I haven't found anything, and I've tweaked every setting that you can possibly go into with the sound. I've went and turned it into headset mode. I've went on the console and turned everything on and off, and switched from whatever the Windows whatever sound to it's never could get it to work. That's my only complaint with the game is whatever. And I know what'll happen. They'll come out by the time I beat it. They'll come out with a patch and go, "Hey, the sound's fixed on it," and I'll be like, "Oh well, I've already beat the game and moved on to something else." So
yes, that is the irony.
Yeah, but it's still Mafia. I mean, all the unlockables are still in the same place. It's still. And I've played it so many times now, it's just like, oh yeah, I think I remember there was a Playboy around here somewhere that I need to collect. Oh, yep, there it is. Okay, yeah, I remember now, and go on. Which I don't know if I'm going to try to 100% do all that crap this time around, because it's like, do I really want to do it for a fourth time when I'm just kind of more enjoying the story and see, how things look and play. The lighting... The lighting is really nice in it. Like the snow, you actually leave tracks in it this time. So instead of the streets, if somebody's walking down the street, there's tracks and it stays there, and your tracks stay there. So when you backtrack, there's, the roads look better. You could tell it's cobblestone. What's brick, what's blacktop. When there's snow on it, when there's ice on it. I mean, they've done a really nice job on it. I'm very, very anxious to see how big of a jump, because what I've seen from the few snapshots of the first Mafia game looks like it's going to be really, really good. So I'm really looking forward to that. So August, whatever in August, I'm sure it'll probably be the end of August. It won't be the 1st of August, I doubt. Never is, because that's when I anticipate it. But Dennis, why don't you go ahead and talk about what you've been playing, because we want to know about one of the games.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
yeah, there's one big one. Wait, hold up. I already forgot what I'm playing. I need to.
What am I playing there? Oh yeah.
Yeah, I always like to look at the list just to make sure, because I feel like I'm always going to miss something. All right, here we go. So, of course, Animal Crossing hasn't stopped. I'm not going to go too much into that. That's going to be a recurring theme, probably for a long time coming, so I won't go too much into that. But yeah, Animal Crossing still as great as ever. But outside of that, of course, I have been playing a little bit of The Outer Worlds on Switch. That one just came out on Friday, I believe, and it's It's on the Switch. It's but no, seriously, it's
I was
cool
just
to
thinking
see.
of Ballroom Blitz the way you said that. The song
But-
Ballroom Blitz.
Yeah.
It's on the Switch.
it's how do I explain this? It's basically the equivalent, basically how everyone kind of felt and saw. Granted, not to the degree of, for lack of a better word, polish, as Witcher 3 on the Switch. It's kind of like that, kind of seeing the Outer Worlds run on the Switch, where it's just like it's impressive. It's absolutely impressive where they managed to get all of that on the Switch. And I think it's really cool that when the physical one come out already, or was it just a digital on Friday?
You know what? I don't know.
But either way,
I'll check while you're talking.
They are putting the whole game on a cartridge, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So again, kudos to them, and I think Virtuos is the name of the studio that did the porting for it as well. It should be applauded, if anything, that they were able to get it to run and get it in a playable state. Now, that being said, it's playable, but it's not optimal. It's not, if you have any other platform to get the Outer Worlds on, unless you absolutely want a handheld version of Outer Worlds, which, full disclosure, is an incredible game. I played it back when it came out via Xbox Game Pass, and it's still up there.
Great.
And it's amazing.
Yeah,
and
I love it.
Microsoft owns Obsidian now, so you don't have to worry about it going out of Game Pass. It's going to be there permanently. So if you have an Xbox or even a PC, because it's on Xbox Game Pass for PC as well, do yourself a favor and download it, especially if you're an RPG fan. It's absolutely a must play. It's really, really great. But if you only have a Switch, then yeah, I do still think it's worth picking up, despite the sacrifices that were made. There's a lot of visual sacrifices, though honestly that doesn't really bother me as much. That usually kind of comes with the platform at this point. Whenever you see a game of that scale, you always know visually it's going to be downgraded. You're not going to get your 4K. You're not going to get your HDR. You're not going to get your super high assets. High resolution assets, so on and so forth. You're probably not going to get a lot of foliage and stuff like that. Things that are going to take up a lot of CPU and RAM power.
Just to interrupt you, yeah, it looks like Outer Worlds is available. Like, I can get it Tuesday on the Switch physical at the house, and it's available digitally right now. So I'm guessing it's out full blown out.
Okay, cool.
I didn't think
it was
$60. $60 is what it is on Amazon.
Yeah, you can get on the Epic Store right now for PC for $40.
Yeah, that's how much it is on every other version on Amazon right now. I'm checking GameStop to see.
Yeah, it's and again, if you were waiting for this to come out on Switch and you only have a Switch, do I think it's worth the $60? I don't see why not, honestly, just because we don't really have too many games like this on the Switch. So it's at the moment it's
Skyrim.
Yeah. So, and this one's not as broken. So it's so you kind of getting a a nice, clean game there. But it looks a little muddy, and sacrifices were made. It's absolutely playable. Again, I think it's awesome having it on the Switch. I've been playing it mostly in handheld because in TV mode, it doesn't really look much different.
Well, that's what I was going to ask. What little bit of reading I've done about it, what I have seen is they say that it's more optimized for handheld, and when you plug it into the dock, all it does is pretty much do the same thing in handheld, just in whatever size TV you have. So it still has.
It enlarges it.
Yeah, so you still see a lot of the crap that you could tell where they sacrificed here to make this look better. And
that's the thing, as I think, because I watched Digital Foundry's video before we got started earlier, and it was one of those things where, like, they made a lot of great points, and I'm just reiterating some of the points that they made because it's true, but it's a lot of the muddiness. Obviously, it's super obvious in TV mode, but when you're in handheld mode, honestly, I'm not going to pretend like it looks great, but it's acceptable. It's definitely not the worst looking game on Switch, and which is saying something given the size and the depth of that game. So I've seen games that look substantially worse, that were much smaller games, like, for example, like any of the sports games. The one that always comes to mind is Troll and I. that game was just, game ran at like 5 frames a second. It was just horrendous. That's a small little indie game that you can beat in like 3 hours, just poorly optimized. So having a game like this on the Switch is a feat. It's incredible, and it's up there for me for Witcher 3 level of just like, I can't believe this is here, but it's awesome that it is. And again, it is playable, and it should be commended that they were able to get it running at all, given some of the disasters that we've seen with some other games, games that shouldn't even be that intensive, games like, like I've seen like some anime games, for example, that just for some reason, when they get ported, God knows for what reason, they just don't run well. I remember when I reviewed Fairy Fencer F on Switch, that's still one of the games that just blew my mind, because this is a PS3 game that somehow looks worse on the Switch, and I'm like, what were you doing?
And then you see a game like, I got Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition, and it looks really good. There's some spots in it that you could tell they've done this and this and this and that. And then we got a review code for Trials of what's it called?
The Trials of Mana?
No, the Trials of Steel 3.
Okay.
That's
right. Trails of Steel. Gotcha.
Yeah. I had to think about it for some reason, and I started playing it last night. I went ahead and was like, well, normally Ryan does all those, and he's done 1, 2, and 3 on the PS4. So I thought, well, I'll go ahead and do the switching, because why not? And it looks fantastic in handheld mode. I haven't plugged it up here to the TV yet, but I was kind of blown away how nice that game looks and runs on the Switch. So.
Those games are meaty too.
Yeah,
like very deep, meaty games as well, and optimize it. But it's always shocking to me when you see a game that just really isn't that big, that's so poorly optimized. I don't even want to say. I always go back to Breath of the Wild, but I'm not going to include that just because it's a first party game, and of course, no one's going to know the hardware better than Nintendo. So it's like, I'm gonna put them aside for now. But seeing stuff like Witcher, like now seeing the Outer Worlds. So on and so forth. It's always impressive. It's always impressive to me. And even in an older game, honestly, even though it was a last gen game, but seeing something like Skyrim, where it's like, something of that caliber now being on this device that's this thick. It's just this 1-inch thick device, and it's really astounding. And not just that. I mean, it was the entire BioShock trilogy now is on Switch.
And I hear it runs really, really well.
Yeah, BioShock, which I want that, because BioShock's like one of my favorite series ever, and so I want that.
I want it, and I've had this discussion with Danny, and we talked about it on the Back to Bits podcast the other day, because he got BioShock and he got Borderlands for him and his wife to play. My only gripe with that is you only have one game on the cart, the other 2 are download, and that just friggin' aggravates me to no end, because I know what's going to happen in 5 years when Nintendo goes, we're off to the next Nintendo whatever console. By the way, the eShop's closing down in 3 years, so you better download all your games while you can, because you'll never be able to download them again.
They can't do that. There's no way they can.
They will. They will. They did it on. They've done it on every. You say you can't do it, but they did. They have. They've done it on the Wii. They're doing it on. They'll do it. I guarantee you.
That makes sense, because I feel like that their network infrastructure at the time, wasn't built around to be long lasting. Now the eShop is kind of connected, because I can add $10 to my 3DS.
Oh, I know, but
on my Switch.
We'll find out here. The 3DS is kind of on the down low. We'll give me 2 years, and we'll see what we'll revisit this and see what they're saying about the eShop on the 3DS, if it's still going to be around.
Gonna get a lot of crap for that.
Oh, I know, but I know.
Hey, they're already killing the eShop in some of the other countries, like in South America, right?
Oh yeah, the eShop. Well, I think it's on the Wii U. They're killing the eShop in some other.
The Wii U. I know, like Brazil, Portugal, places like that.
Yeah, give them time.
I hope it does.
This is the one thing that I do not have faith with Nintendo, and I really didn't have faith with PlayStation with that until the PlayStation 3, and they actually, you can still do it on the PlayStation 3. You can't on the PSP. You have to download them through the PlayStation 3, connect your PlayStation Portable to the 3, and down, do it.
But at least there's still an option with that.
There is.
Mm-hmm. It's not cut off completely, thank God. But I mean, my PSP, so it doesn't matter.
I will not hold my breath with Nintendo about it.
Or like the DSi shop too, all that cool DSiWare games.
Here's the reason why it will happen. Because Nintendo keeps remaking their games.
Yeah.
And if you can just get the old ones there and continue to have them, there'd be no reason for you to buy the new version of Mario, or like buy the new version of that old Mario game that you like that we're putting on this new place that we're going to resell you.
Good call.
Nintendo needs to get on that smart delivery. Come on.
Yeah. I mean,
that's not happening.
It's like Xbox.
Unless the only way I could see them keeping it is if by some crazy way you'll be able to play your Switch games on whatever the next console is. Of course, we're guessing it's something that's probably a good 5 or 6 years away. So who knows what it's going to be? Is it going to be a traditional console? Is it going to be something that burns the games directly into my eye sockets and I don't have to have a controller in my hand? I mean, who knows? I mean, you can't guess what Nintendo's doing, because you would think they would just bring out just a regular old, here's our CD-based console. Nope, they're going to do something crazy, I'm sure. So.
That's what makes it so. That's why I love Nintendo, though, because they always bring something new to the table. Even if it's something that's like you look at it and go, "What in the world is this?" You end up falling in love with it because it's such unique technology that you've never really seen before.
I still love my Wii U. I still say I liked my Wii U better than I liked my PS3 and my PS4 at the time when it was out. I played my Wii U more. I just did. I thought the games were better on it. I had a better time. Did Nintendo do a terrible way of marketing it? Oh my gosh, yes they did.
Of course,
but
they made a terrible console and marketed it terribly, so only a few people bought it.
I don't.
Regardless of how you feel about the Wii U, the Switch is still made.
Oh yeah, the Switch is what the Wii U really, really, really wanted to be, but the technology just wasn't there.
The Wii U is the Switch beta test,
pretty much. But I mean, after seeing the way
Switch early access.
Yeah.
And I mean, with all the games that they've ported from Wii U to Switch now, that's almost true.
Yeah, well, it is. And that's just because, nobody played them on the Wii U. And that, to me, that's just sad, because the Wii U, well, I mean, you look at the way Wonderful 101 runs on the Wii U and the way it runs on the Switch, it almost runs better or just as good on the Wii U as it does on the Switch. So... I don't know. Speaking of Wonderful 101, I'm probably going to cancel my freaking pre-order on the physical, because they keep pushing it back.
It was pretty good, but honestly, as much as I gripe about the gamepad of the Wii U, I kind of miss those touch controls for like the precise things. I mean, trying to draw, use the Pro controller. I'm like,
right.
How to control this?
I may try to catch it on the sale. But anyway, we were talking about Outer Worlds.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, like Outer Worlds, again, long story short, I'm reviewing it, so I'm like going super in depth about it. But it's one of those things where it has its issues, though. Again, it's a fantastic game, and if you only have a Switch, I mean, so long as you play the game, I don't really care how you play the game. If you just play the game because it's a great game, and it is absolutely playable. But again, it's not optimal, so don't go in expecting you're not going to get your 60 frames. It aims for a stable 30. Most of the time it's struggling. It usually hovers around like 25 to 28, which can be a little choppy at times, but it really depends on what's going on. I only notice it really, like, even honestly, just walking around the world isn't even that bad. It's when you get into fights. When you get into fights, that's when literally all hell breaks loose. It's really bad. It starts to drop a lot, and it's hard to aim. Now, they did include a new gyro option, so you have a little bit of motion controls to kind of make your aim a little more specific. But I'm not one for motion controls, anyways, and it's I'm playing on story mode, and which is the easiest mode, and I've even died a few times because it's so choppy, where it's hard to aim, it's hard to, the controls are very loose. Also, they don't feel that tight. It feels weird playing it even though I prefer it in handheld mode, it feels weird playing it on the Joy-Con, and you can't remap any of the buttons either. So like, I tried to like B is crouch, and I want so bad to jump with B.
Right.
And remap controls?
No, they give you 3 presets, and none of them switch to the jump and the crouch button, and it drives me crazy.
Can you go into because now you can go into the actual Switch and remap buttons.
Good point.
So I wonder if you could do it that way, because you can actually
more than likely if you did it that way.
Yeah, and I always forget about that option.
Yeah, me too. That's a good point, actually. I'm going to try that.
Yeah.
If you go to the accessibility options in the settings, now that they're there, because I think that was included in the last or maybe 2 system updates ago, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty recently though.
Just remember when you go to another game. That's
true. Yeah, it's gonna be terrible.
Why am I just jumping around in this game? Oh wait, it's because I switched all the buttons around.
I go play Mario Maker, and then all of a sudden I'm just jumping right into just diving right into the lava.
As long as you don't do it before when you're on a live stream, it'll be fine, because then I'll just sit there and laugh at you.
Oh no, I'm already used to that. That's a given at this point. But that's part of the charm of the stream at this point. But yeah, no, that's a good point though. I need to do that because you can't. They give you 3 preset options. They're not bad presets, but none of them. Like all I want, like literally the controls are fine, except for the fact that I literally just want to switch the crouch and the jump button, because the crouch is A. Sorry, the crouch is B and the jump is A, and I'm like, so many times I'll be like trying to jump and I'll crouch instead, and then and then I'm getting shot from all over the place, and it's just. Not ideal.
I've really considered swapping A and B on a regular basis on my Switch, just because when I turn around and I go to a PlayStation or I go to the Xbox, I find myself backing out of things all the time because it's like, crap, I forgot that the buttons are reversed.
Too. Like I can relate playing like Zombie Army Trilogy. I was like, what the?
It especially happens to me on Xbox just because they also use the letter system, on all their stuff. With PlayStation, it doesn't really work because my brain is automatically understands that it's symbols. Yeah. And like the controller feels different. But I mean, if you're using especially a Pro controller on the Switch all the time, it feels a lot like an Xbox controller.
Yeah, it really does.
So it's easy
for me, it still messes up because it's more like location. So I'm reaching to this same spot to back out, and because it's flipped on Nintendo, if I'm going to a PlayStation controller or an Xbox controller, it's like, nope. Okay,
I'll do it.
Yeah.
And then you go back to Nintendo and you're like, oh, nope. Fumbling me back no matter which direction I'm going.
Why do I keep backing out?
And then the thing is, like, even if you, in the case of like my Vitas too, like my Vitas, because yes, I still play my Vita. Judge me all you want, but it's for my Vitas, like since two of them are Japanese imports. They switch. Their circle is their confirm, and their X button is their back. Now, in the rest of the world, obviously X is confirm, and then circle's usually back, but not in Japan. It's the other way around. Circle usually always means confirm, no matter what. So, that gets confusing too when I'm just trying to simply select a game. Now, when you go into the games, they're mapped depending on the region that they're set, so it doesn't matter. Right. But if you're on the home menu, like I can't tell you how many times I've accidentally made folders and stuff like that where, because I'm hitting the wrong buttons. Yeah. And I'm like, oh my God, come on, please.
Yeah, it's just, why couldn't everybody have just settled on one thing worldwide? It's fine. It's fine. If you want to make it like it is in Japan, I'm totally fine with that. But when it came to America, we got to flip those for some reason, except for Nintendo, who went, nope, we're bucking that trend. We're not going to do that. And it's like, and that's fine, but oh my gosh, it's like you play 40 hours of something on the Switch, and then you're like, well, I'm going to go play the Xbox. I keep backing out to the menu.
That's like me in Outer Worlds too, because I didn't have this trouble with Outer Worlds, and then now I'm playing the Switch version. It's just like, oh my God, because the B and the A are switched.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I could just switch the B and the A on the Xbox, but I mean, I could do it that way. I could go in, since I got the Elite controller, I can go in and remap every single button on that thing. So but I choose not to. So
the D-pad is now the shoulder button.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah. Well, that's Koei Tecmo would agree with you entirely, because all their PC ports are like, you can hit the select button, and for some reason that'll be right trigger, and then like left bumper will be your jump. I'm like, look, this is not how we play games, Koei Tecmo. This is just not how we do stuff. I remember my friend showed me one time, he was playing DOA, not 6, 5 or something like that, and then like left trigger was like was the start button. What do you? Don't do this ever.
They're trolling. That's all it is. It's just trolling.
When it comes to PC ports, I promise you, as much as I love them, I love Koei Tecmo, full disclosure. I love Bandai Namco, full disclosure. But when it comes to the PC, I don't know who's doing these ports, or maybe it's still in house. But God forbid it's something that's not a PlayStation. They don't know what they're doing.
Yeah,
they just can't wrap their head around it. And maybe that's why they, all these Switch ports tend to be mediocre at best. But
yeah, A and B buttons. The bane of my existence.
But overall, Outer Worlds, if you have another platform, you're better off playing it there unless you absolutely want a handheld RPG like this. But it's playable, not optimal. I think that's the best one-liner I can give about.
I want to try it. I want to just try it. That's the only reason why I bought The Witcher. The Witcher was like $50, and it's like, you know what? Yeah. I'm going to pay $50 for it just to try it out on the Switch and see how it works. And I was impressed. Will I ever finish playing it on the Switch? I don't know. Maybe someday when I'm bored. But it's like, well, I don't know.
A lot of game.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's a lot of game.
You know that you're in for a long haul if you want to finish it.
And it's like, well, and I want to do the same thing with Outer Worlds, but at the same time, it's like I don't think I want to spend $60 on it. It's maybe if it was 40 or maybe even 50, but I'll probably get it at some point. It'll be on sale. I know it'll be on sale, whether it's a Black Friday or first of the year or whatever. But
30.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm glad it runs well on there, though. That one I really worried about because I wasn't sure how it was, how that one was going to work out. But everybody wants their Fallout, so now you've got Fallout in space on the Switch. So there you go.
It'll get the job done for sure.
Mm-hmm. It's better than Fallout.
Yeah, I think you're right. I agree with that.
But yeah, in addition. In addition to that, I have been playing Minecraft Dungeons as well.
I have not booted that up yet. I have it downloaded.
You mean maybe Diablo with the Minecraft skin?
That's really all it is, yeah.
And I can deal with that. I have it downloaded through Game Pass. I didn't realize it was coming to Game Pass. I guess I should have realized that since Microsoft owns Minecraft now, but it never even crossed my mind. And then the other day, I'm like, oh crap, I could just download this. Okay, well, and I haven't booted it up yet, so.
It's great. Honestly, it's great. I've only played a couple of hours of it, but I mean, I fell in love with it right away. I thought about buying it again on Switch. Unfortunately, there's no cross-save or cross-play at the moment. At least not on launch. It is apparently coming, but who knows when that'll be. Yeah. But
Minecraft Dungeons just rubbed me the wrong way. Like, it looks cool, but then like their DLC plans for it and stuff, I'm just like, You could have done better with this idea than what you did. You did the bare minimum kind of simple version of it. But what if there was a little bit more Minecraft in Minecraft Dungeons where like you could do some actual like building of something or destroying stuff or whatever. Yeah. Instead it's just pretty much just a straight up, here's some Diablo style maps and you can do some stuff, kill it, great, rinse, repeat. That seems to be what it is.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I figured it was.
Which is fine. It's still really cool looking. It's just like you wish there was they put a little bit more creativity into it, maybe, or maybe because like you're basing it on a franchise. It's like that's the whole shtick. It's creativity. You can do it in a bunch of different ways. You can do kind of what you want with it. It's this giant sandbox, and then even within like the Telltale like Minecraft type games, there's a lot more Minecraft kind of flavor to it than it seems to be in Dungeons. Other than it looks really pretty and it looks like Minecraft.
Yeah.
But there's no like, it doesn't, and this is more looking at it, but it seems like there's not much Minecrafty stuff in it. It's pretty much just a Diablo game that looks like Minecraft, and it's just also simple because of the demographic they're going for.
Yeah.
But yeah, I want to. I downloaded it. I haven't played it yet. But then go ahead, Dennis. What were you?
Oh no, it's just basically like, it gets the job done in terms of like, being a solid dungeon crawler, and the maps are really interesting and I enjoy it overall. But yeah, none of those like real Minecraft elements are there, because the first thing I did when I jumped in was just like, all right, how do you build? And you don't. It's literally just you go through a dungeon and then you kind of get these weapons and skills, all via RNG. And then you just kind of go through this the maps that they have, and and again, it's a fun, simplistic dungeon crawler, but don't really go in expecting any of those, what makes Minecraft Minecraft. It's really just Minecraft by name and by look. It's not really, Minecraft by gameplay. It's doesn't really offer any of that otherwise, but it's enjoyable, and if you have Game Pass, I do think it's worth a play. So
yeah. Have you played it co-op with anybody? Either
I did. Yeah, it was fun. I enjoyed it a lot.
It seems like that's the way you'd want to play it.
Yeah, that's kind of what I thought. It would be more of a co-op game than it would be.
Yeah, it was enjoyable. I liked it a lot. I haven't really played as much as I would have liked, but I was having a good time. I was having a good time with it. But yeah, there's a lot of those Minecraft elements that just aren't there at all. So it's weird. But yeah, in addition to that, I jumped back into Hitman 2 just because I was feeling some stealth, and Hitman 2 has been treating me well. I played it a long time ago when it came out, and it's still great. Now I can finally play all the season pass content, and so I was just kind of waiting for all that to finish. And interestingly, they're still updating the game and adding more stuff to it. So so who knows when? Yeah, who knows when Hitman 3 is going to come out? And if you have Hitman 1, you can just basically import all the maps and levels and stuff like that into Hitman 2, so you can have Hitman 1 and 2 in one game. And so it makes me wonder if they make a Hitman 3, like, are they just going to make a Hitman almost like a hub kind of, where it's just like, because that's kind of an interesting concept to me, where it's just like you can access Hitman 3 all from just one Hitman launcher almost. Because that
would be all right.
Yeah. But yeah, jumping into those levels, I am very rusty, so I'm not. Every time I haven't been as stealthy as I would have liked. I get caught a lot. I pretend like I don't.
Part, though, because that's when all the weird, goofy stuff happens. I watched tons of Giant Bomb playing that game, because like Hitman 1 was like their game of the year that year it came out, and then they did a bunch with Hitman 2 when it came. And all of those are hilarious because they would even put weird challenges on where they had to try and do specific things, so they couldn't tackle it the way that they wanted, but like almost like spin a wheel and like, here, you have to do this paired with this and that, and then like inevitably something would go wrong, and they'd just be like chucking fire axes across the room to try and get a guy, and then running before they get shot. Like goofy fun stuff, which is kind of the draw of the like Hitman games, just because of all the different simulations going on. All sorts of weird stuff can happen.
That's funny. But so what else have you been playing? Anything else? Or?
No, really. That's just about it at the moment. Yeah. Nothing really special outside of that. Just Animal Crossing still consuming me.
I check in every day. Check turnip prices, even though I'm not buying turnips. Go, dig my stuff and turn my stuff in. I mean, at least now there's new fish to catch and new bugs to catch, and because it is June, so there's.
We say that, but I still caught a sea bass earlier. So.
Well, yeah, I mean, I did too, but I caught an eel. I caught a hammerhead. My wife caught a whale or a shark or something. It was freaking huge. I was like, what in the world? Because she just goes, look at this. And I'm like, I don't know what I'm looking at. It takes up the whole screen. So, okay. Whatever. All right. That's cool.
This is a fish the size of my entire island.
Yeah, it was pretty big. So,
probably
Eric,
catch at some point.
Yeah. Eric, you've played quite a lot. Are you working? You're working from home? Are you sure you're working? You've played an awful lot.
I'm cranking it out crazy. I've just been playing a lot, just in the evening. Wife goes to bed early, and so I'm like, all right, let's fire something out.
See, my wife's not working, so she doesn't go to bed early. So it's like, daggone it, this is my time where I usually she goes to bed at 1 o'clock, and I'm like, oh God, I hate to fire up something at 1 o'clock in the morning.
I'm hard time motivating myself to play games I should finish, like Control or Prey.
Yeah, I need to finish Control too.
Pro Exodus, where I'm like, I only have 20 hours left. I should get maybe 10. I should do it. I'm like, oh wait. Prey, I'm pretty close. Prey, I think I'll have a few hours left. But Control, I really want to get back into it before I buy more stuff or start Resident Evil 2. Anyway, let's see what I've been playing. I tried Revenge of the Bird King because it was a penny.
Why not?
See what it was like. It's not terrible. It's okay.
It's worth a penny.
Yeah, it's entertaining. Controls well, and Zombie Army Trilogy. I had some other stuff we played too, but I've been talking last show. I talked a lot. So Zombie Army Trilogy, Nintendo Switch, pretty good. It's the Sniper Elite guy, so it plays well.
Yeah,
looks good. Like shooting zombies, do it.
Yeah.
It's got co-op and multiplayer too, and it's fun. It can be challenging, so that's cool. Lots of different weapons and stuff. It's good. I highly recommend like playing on your TV with a Pro Controller though. I definitely enjoyed that more than handheld mode. I bought this from a guy on Macari before my Macari account got shut down, but that's a different story. I bought Target Terror for the Wii. It's
an arcade shooter.
It's like Area 51 or Maximum Force, the best way to describe it, with the pre-generated graphics. It's actually pretty good.
Yeah, we used to have that on the Wii. Me and the wife played it a lot.
It's tough to find. I paid about just under 30 for it, and I'd seen it as high as like 45 to 50.
Gosh, are you serious? I paid like $6 for that game, and I don't know if I still have it. I don't think I do.
Spent like a month and a half looking on eBay. I looked at GameStop. I asked all my friends in town and our local retro store in there. All my friends in town are like, "No, I've never." One guy had a copy. And the local retro store said, "No, we've never had a copy in stock."
Wow. Well, those are the cool games. House of the Dead, Target Terror. They're like the old Virtual Cop games. So a lot of people like those.
Get that Gunblade New York too, even though that game makes me nauseous.
Yeah. If you like the old arcade games, play Operation Warcade on PSVR.
I have it. I have played it. It is good.
That's a good one. I like
it's
that.
It's got my recommendation. I played some Tony Hawk 2X on original Xbox. I cannot really recommend this game. If you were an Xbox guy back in the day and never played 1 and 2, I guess maybe get this. It doesn't really add much. There's like a couple added skate parks. I don't know. The controls feel muddy. Like I'd also played Tony Hawk 3, and the controls seem a lot better for that. So I don't know. 2X is okay. I don't know if I'll ever finish it. Played some Capcom Classic Collection 2. Why? Because I also recently acquired that too, as well for Xbox. I've gotten into the habit if it's a multi-platform release and I can get it for my Xbox, I'm getting it because it's usually cheaper.
Oh yeah, it's way cheaper. May not be easy to find, but
just rip it to the modded Xbox. Played out some Burnout Revenge as well. That's always a good time. My wife played a little bit of that with me too. Just enjoyed crashing into things endlessly. All right, so for PC, I played Azteca. It was a game. It's been free on the Epic Store. I played it at PAX a couple of years ago. It's a black and white platformer with like RPG elements. It's kind of cool. If you die, pretty much game over. So it's interesting. It's fun. I finally finished Half-Life Episode 1 and started on Half-Life Episode 2. I know I'm a terrible person. I've owned these for years on Steam.
Ugh, that makes me nauseous just thinking about it.
But I can't say they're pretty good. I think the thing that the combat and the story and the gameplay are fine. Everything's aged well, except for the character animations. Like when they're talking, I'm just like, I can't. It's such a hard time. But the rest of the game holds up great.
Yeah.
So, it's a slow, methodical shooter. A little bit of puzzles and stuff. I'm definitely enjoying it.
I like Episode 1. Episode 2 is much better.
Yeah. I almost don't Episode 2.
I want to play them, but those Valve, whatever that Valve engine is with the first-person shooter, it just makes me nauseous.
I wonder what the engine was. I was like, it's got to be modified from something, but I didn't really look into it.
The engine's just Source.
Yeah, it's just Source. But any Source engine game just makes me, for some reason, just makes me nauseous when I play it. I've never been able to finish any of the Half-Life games because they just...
Like a couple years ago when I was telling you the newer Wolfenstein games, same thing with me. For like an hour, I was like, I can't.
It makes you wonder, like, what it's handling different from other first-person games that makes it do that. Because, like, I know some people, it's like FOV, like a certain field of view will make it, but that could be any engine. It's not tied to like one specific one.
Well, it's and I could play whatever the Mars game was in VR, and that was a first-person game in VR, and I could play it just fine. But man, you slap Half-Life 2 down in front of me on a PC and say play it. 5 minutes into it, I'm like, oh man, I don't feel good. It's like it just doesn't even make sense. I don't understand.
It's sad because that's a great game.
I know.
Yeah.
But those other Wolfenstein games, I just don't know what it is. Let's see. I have a buddy. He hooked me up with some Dreamcast games. Hooked me up.
Well, I was gonna say, yeah. I mean, with those must be some burnt games or something, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, especially if you look at the look.
Yeah, I look at that list. I'm like, wait a minute, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Yeah, I don't think you paid the price that JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is.
So that's an interesting game. I am actually glad I got it this way because I don't think I would buy it.
Yeah, it's a very acquired taste. You've really got to
like Guilty Gear is a very technical fighter.
Yeah.
JoJo's, I'm like, I could just button mash and get my way through this. But
Yeah.
it's really weird. And my friend's like, you should watch the anime. I'm like, well, if it's like the fighting game, I'm sure it's bizarre.
Yeah, it is. It's bizarre. And
that's
that's
the name
that's
for a reason.
that's why they call it Bizarre Adventures, because it's bizarre.
There was another game I got. It's called Redux, the shmup for Dreamcast. It's homebrew. It's actually really good.
Yeah,
it's like R-Type.
Yeah, it was an indie company that brought it out a couple of years ago. You can still buy copies of it. Yeah.
I bet it's reasonable too. I bet it's a $30 or $40.
Something like that, $30, $40, $50, something like that.
Yeah. He had this Capcom fighting collection he gave me, and it had like a bunch of obviously ports of stuff. There's like Marvel vs. Capcom 1, Capcom vs. SNK 2.
Yeah, I have that. It's like the arcade rips or something like that.
It's interesting, obviously, because it won't fit if it's a traditional Dreamcast game.
Right.
I did fit Techromancer, and I want to track that game down. It's too, the mech combat. It's so weird. Just
that's a good one too.
You got a 3D plane and they're just blasting each other. I'm like, this is an interesting game and definitely appealing. I think that one's actually still reasonable. I think it's probably 50 or 60. I have a friend who was asking me if I wanted his copy of Marvel vs. Capcom 2, the official one for Dreamcast. I have it. I'm like, and I looked at the price. Oh my lord, $140 and climbing.
Wow, I have a copy of that.
I was like, no. He's like, well, I'll give it to you for $100. I'm like, I got my copy like 3 years ago for like $60, and even that's a bit for me.
It has to be a really, 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 really cool game that I will pay that much for, and there isn't very many games out there that I'll pay retro price for like that. I mean, I didn't realize
Power Stone 2, $120, $130.
Are you serious?
I mean, I think I saw $115, but
I still have that too. I never got rid of. There's a few Dreamcast games that back in the day I did get rid of. Sonic Adventure and Power Stone 1 for some strange reason. I don't know why I traded those games. I did for some reason.
You made a good choice with Sonic Adventure 1. I'm just kidding.
I would like to get that back. It's like, but now it's like places are.
You get that for $30 or $40.
Yeah, they're pretty.
If you really want to, next time there's a retro show, I will try to negotiate a couple of deals. I mean, I got Sonic Adventure 2. This is getting off the wagon. I got it last year at the Portland Retro Gaming Expo show. Had a scratch on the disc. It was complete. And the guy's like, oh, $25. I said, you know what? For $25, I'll take a chance.
Yeah.
It works like a champ. No issues.
$140, Marvel Capcom 2. Power Stone 2, $141.
Fast Blade.
Oh, I'm just looking at these are games I own, Skies of Arcadia, $111. Good gosh. Sonic Adventure 2, $80. Man, I don't know why Dreamcast games all of a sudden. I mean, I know some Dreamcast games have always been high, but
it's crazy. But I've been playing a lot of stuff, and I'm going to keep playing, especially trying to get through this backlog and play more of the Steam library I haven't touched. I'm just tinker with it, see what's out there. And
wow. I have Third Strike, Street Fighter 3 Third Strike, $100.
That's a game.
$100? Oh my gosh! I paid $3 for that at Best Buy, or not Best Buy, at Blockbuster when they were clearance and everything. I paid $3 for it. I've never even played it. I literally got it and went, wow, it was $3. Put it on the shelf. It was like,
and even the common stuff like Dead or Alive 2. You can find that all day long, right? $35 right now.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
People are nuts.
Bad
things when you pay. Yeah, craziness.
It's the reason why I don't buy a lot of retro games anymore. Is because that's just not going to pay crazy prices for them.
It's like I would like to complete Power Stone 1. I would like to get a case in manual. Good luck. Yeah. I have not in the 3 years I've been looking. I've never seen it pop up. All the retro groups I've asked, nobody's got it. Yeah. I'll have to settle for a repo case probably.
Well, and that's the one game that I don't know why I got rid of, and I don't even remember when I got rid of it. It's like, why did I get rid of that game? Because I loved it so much. I traded
it for something else.
I guess I don't know. And that was at the time where I finally went, I'm not getting rid of any more games I buy unless they're just sucky games. If it's a game I want, I'm going to keep it. So I don't know.
I decided last year with Dreamcast and other games like the PlayStation 2 stuff and GameCube and the Xbox stuff I really like, or Genesis. If I find a better copy for myself, I will get rid of my copy. But no, it's just not.
Well, the GameCube is another one that's the prices of stuff is starting to go nuts on it. And, you know, it's like, and I look back at some of the games that I've got on it. Fire Emblem Radiance, you know, I bought that. I paid 40, I want to say $30 or $40 at that when I was working at GameStop because we got a complete copy in. And now that thing's like $150, $160. It's like,
sometimes you can luck out though. Like Killer 7's pretty expensive for GameCube, but the PS2 version, 20, 25 easy.
And I've got it on GameCube too. But the nice thing is now that I got that little chip that plugs in the bottom of my GameCube, I've just ripped my entire collection onto an SD card, so I don't even have to put my discs in the system anymore because some of those games are getting so expensive that I don't even want to take them off the shelf. Then the nieces and the nephews come down and they go, ooh, and I'm like, yeah, be easy. Don't grab and pull. Don't grab and pull. Don't grab and pull. Don't do that. You know, don't touch that copy of Panzer Dragoon Saga. I will disown you.
You're gonna have to like put that like in a glass case or like a plastic case with screws.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna have to do with that one because I mean that one's getting up to the $1,000 mark, and I don't even trust it sitting on the shelf anymore. It's like
that's crazy. And remember, like what 10 years ago, you get it for less than 100, right? Around 100, I think. Less than that. Like 60, 70. And then Saturn collecting took off when everybody wants it.
I paid $50 for it. $50. $50. And I
I
thought that was insane to pay $50 for a Saturn game back in the day. It's like this is 98, 99. I'm like $50 for a Saturn game. This is bullcrap. And then turn around. It's like, yeah, I'm glad I paid $50 for it. But yeah, so. But anyway, we'll get into the news real quick. Just a couple of real quick stories, not a whole lot out there. Kingdom of Amalur Re-Reckoning announced. I'm kind of excited about that. I enjoyed the Kingdom of Amalur game.
I'm going to be interested to see how this turns out because I think this is a game that's not going to age as well as people think. They've got all this nostalgia for it, but there's been so much stuff after this game came out that's done some of the stuff that people enjoyed about it better.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to see how well it holds up. Because I remember I kind of liked it, but the story was trash.
Yeah, story was weird.
Such
it was
generic,
weird.
just kind of it didn't really hook you in. The combat was okay, but that seems to be the thing that most people like about it. And then the art style was fine, but it's just it got a lot of hype around it that I think is partially deserved, at least. But if it had been, part of it's also just the situation of that game and the studio and all that.
Right.
Yeah, there we go.
And Schilling kind of yeah, he kind of
project.
So yeah, it's not just the game that keeps this game in people's minds. It's all the story behind the game and all of that.
What I remember about it is,
I
think if you had played Mass Effect 2, it gave you like special weapons in the game.
I think so. Yeah, there was some kind of
Mass
Effect.
Some tie-in like that.
Yeah, and do you remember like the collector's editions with the statues? I remember a couple years after it came out, I was like, I should get those. Now, 1,000. 1,500.
Oh yeah, and it's
McFarlane designed those things. They look really cool.
Well, and they were made. It was made by McFarlane, so that was they were real limited. But comes out August 11th. It's $39.99.
That budget release price.
Yeah, $40. I'll buy it for $40. Play it again.
Probably.
Yeah. So why not?
Probably the only way I'll get it is if it gives it to me in my Steam library because I already own it.
Well, you know what? And I
but I doubt they're going to do that for this one.
I don't know. I wonder. That's something I wondered about. I wondered if they would do that. I don't know.
Honestly, the one that I'm tempted to get that's a kind of remaster is the Saints Row the Third.
I've heard a lot of good things about that.
It looked really like if you look at the Digital Foundry comparison or any other one that like you show it side by side, you're like, oh wow, they put a lot of work into this for some weird reason. It just came out of nowhere and like, here you go. Here's this thing, and you would expect it to just be kind of like a cheap port, but you look at it, and you're like, wow, they really like put a whole bunch of stuff like new lighting, textures, everything into that game.
Yeah, I heard a lot about that, so it's like,
and that game is so much fun. So that would be one I would definitely be considering buying. I think it's also $40.
Yeah, I think so too. I don't think it's too much. let's see, what's next? New Xbox store design was leaked. Yeah, it looks like the Microsoft store. I mean,
yeah, it's like, yay, it's a store.
Yeah, I mean,
nothing wrong with flattery and imitation, right?
No, I mean, I like the little strip on the side, with the, I don't know. I've grown to like the Xbox One setup as it is right now with the tiles and the one thing that I never really liked about the Switch is how all my games just run left to right in a line. And I mean, I like on the PlayStation how I can make a folder and put all my games in, which is really, really cool. The Xbox, you can pin them. You can pin so many of them to the front. So if there's a couple games I'm playing, I'll pin them to the front page. And then when I'm done, I'll unpin them and I'll pin the next set, which I kind of like that. I'm not jumbled up with a bunch of crap, but
it's kind of like the console version of some of the stuff you can do on Steam, where you can tag them, categorize them, and organize it. You can do a lot more in Steam than you can on there. But even if you can just pin something, then that's cool, because this is a game I'm going to keep playing all the time and come back to. Even if I play something else, I want it to be right there.
Right. Yeah. It's like right now I've got where I'm playing Mafia. I've got Mafia pinned there, and then below it is pinned Assassin's Creed, and then below that is pinned Streets of Rage 4. Because okay, these are the games that I'm playing right now on the system, and I can just go beep 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 beep. Where the PlayStation 4, I've got everything. I've got all my stuff in folders. So it's like I've got a Sega folder. Since I've got every Yakuza game on there, I have a specific Yakuza folder that's not a Sega folder because I've got all the Yakuza games in there. I've got third party. I've got indie. I've got first party. I've got what I'm playing now, which is a folder with just the games that I'm, currently playing. So like Red Dead's in there and, whatever else. It's kind of like, that's cool and all, but I almost like it just having a home screen where I can just pin them on like I do on the Xbox. I kind of like that because then I don't have to shuffle through a bunch of things. It's just right. Or
even just have something kind of like both, where you can put all your games in folders, but if you want to have some just on a home screen as well, you can do that.
Yeah. And then, that's what I've noticed. I didn't even realize this till just a couple of days ago on when you go into your list of installed games on your Xbox One X, you can actually drop down and go, okay, which games are Xbox One X enhanced? And then it goes, and then I'm like, oh, look, on all these games I own, they're Xbox. Because I didn't know what I owned was enhanced and what wasn't, so I was just kind of curious. I'm like, wow, I got like 70 games that I didn't even know that were Xbox One enhanced. I want to try this out.
They do a decent job of being able to sort that there, or even in like the store, being able to look at that as a category and stuff like that.
I don't know. Anymore when it comes to PlayStation or Xbox, I never go to the store on the console. I always go to it on the internet, on either my phone or the website, and order it and then send it to download to the console. I don't actually go through the console to find anything. I do that even with Game Pass. Game Pass has an app. So, it's like, oh, here's all the new games in Game Pass right here on the front page. I want to play that one, that one, that one, that one, that one. Let's just download it and then stick my phone back in my pocket and go. So I don't even know what it looked like on the... what the store looked like originally anymore, hardly, because I never really go to it. If you're an EA fan and you have EA games, hey, guess what? EA games on PC are now available on Steam.
A lot of them, like their old games, have always been on Steam for quite a while.
Yeah,
but and then the Jedi Fallen Order came out there, and they said, "Hey, we're gonna put more games at some point," and now some point kind of has gotten here, and they put a bunch of them. There's still some that aren't there though.
Yeah,
which is a little sad, but there's quite a few, and they're all like a lot of them are on sale right now too.
Yeah, there's tons of them. I'm looking here. Dragon Age Origins Ultimate Edition 75%. Mirror's Edge is 90%. Catalyst is 50%. I'm just looking through the prices.
So I think they've only got one of the Mass Effect games or something, but not all of them. I can't remember. There's like a few notable exceptions, but I looked through the list and I was like, there's some of these games that I liked, but there's ones that I own on Origin already or some other platform. So it's kind of like, well, I don't feel like rebuying it on Steam just for something I'm probably never going to play.
Right. And they also said that EA Access was coming to Steam as well. So, that's good if you have an Access account, and then you don't have to go, I don't have to pull up this, I don't have to pull up that. I always like one centralized thing if I can do it. And I know
seems so weird to me. Like the whole point of EA Access is your subscription to EA, but having that on Steam as a platform is like, what is Steam getting out of that? Why would you ever let them do that? Plus, like, how would you even like organize that on Steam? I'm sure they figured out a way, but it's just like that had to have been some crazy weird deal making to be able to have Steam say, yeah, sure, why not? Because maybe they get some of the money revenue from it. Who knows?
Maybe, I don't know. Yeah,
it just seems weird.
Yeah, and I thought of all the whole story. That was the weirdest part of like.
And is it going to be separate too? So if you get EA Access on Steam, does that mean that you also have a version of it on Origin, or if you already have it on the Origin platform, can you have access to it on Steam as well?
Yeah.
Or are they two separate things? Kind of like Xbox is a separate thing from it's.
Well, and I wonder if it's just an app.
So.
I wonder if it's just an app in Steam that you just click and then it takes you to, I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean, it's so
it's
weird.
Not there yet. Maybe we'll know more when they actually get it out.
Yeah, hopefully it won't be something insanely crazy.
Not that I really care because I've never wanted to buy it in any of the platforms it's been on thus far.
I haven't.
Okay, sure.
I tried it when it first came to Xbox, just to go, oh yeah, this is really cool. Yeah, I'm not interested.
Especially with how crappy EA games have been of late, that by the time they actually maybe get good, and they've been patched a bunch of times, they're cheap enough to buy that it's like I don't care about having a subscription where I can get it early when it's broken.
Right. Well, and like Fallen Order wasn't even available on Access, so it's like it's like the game that I would want to play, it's like, well, if it was on there, I might get access, but if it's not, oh, well, I'll just buy the game then, it's like, it's a weird thing because there's not that much in the back catalog of EA that I go, you know what, I would really like to fire up an old,
well, it's like EA
if it was Bad Company, maybe.
Yeah, they're not making games the type of games that I want to play for the most part. It's like they're far away from Dead Space and Mirror's Edge experiment phase, and they're in let's maximize the amount of money we can make and put these games out before they're ready phase.
Right. Well, and like I said, I get a hankering every once in a while to play Madden, but if I want to play Madden, I'll either pull up an old copy of Madden that I bought years ago and play it, or I can get a sale with Madden for $20. So why would I pay EA Access for whatever?
Yeah. As long as you're willing to get like any of their sports games like a year behind, then you can get it dirty.
Oh yeah. It's like, why would I don't know. EA Access thing's weird. If they would, if they would have had like Fallen Order on their day one, I probably would have went, okay, I'll subscribe to that, and I'd probably still have it, even though it's like, well, I'm not really playing anything right now.
Yeah,
because I have a bad habit of doing that. It's like, oh yeah. It's like HBO Go. I subscribe to HBO Go, and it's like I've watched a little bit on there.
So I had HBO Now, and it turned into HBO Max automatically for me.
Or HBO Max. That's what I meant. I said Go. I meant Max. Sorry.
Well, yeah, but like, so it was now it turned into Max, and I was looking on like the web browser and stuff. Hey, there's some cool stuff. I'll like, bookmark some of these. I might want to watch it. And then I found out, because I hadn't looked into it much, they didn't have an app for Roku, which is what's on my big TV. So
and they don't have it for
that's where I want to watch it. They don't have it for the Amazon stuff either.
No, they don't, and that's where we watch it. And that's the bad thing is, for the first month before it came out, they're going, hey, we got this offer. You could subscribe to it for $12 a month instead of $15 a month. So I thought, well, heck, I'll go ahead and do that for a year and save a couple bucks a month. Well, then HBO Max launches, and everybody was like, I was on the road, and everybody's like, oh, your HBO Now app just flips over to HBO Max. You're good to go. Come home, pull up the Fire Stick. Not there. I'm like, what the crap is this?
That one semi makes sense, since Amazon has the weird like subscriptions to premium services through it for like HBO and Showtime and stuff. So maybe there's some weird thing where Amazon's like, well, we want you to give us a better deal. But for Roku, like, why the heck isn't there a Roku?
I don't know. But it's weird. It's like I can pull up the HBO Go app. I can pull up the HBO Now app on Amazon, but I can't pull up the HBO Max. It's like, why are you doing that? Yeah, and especially with Roku. Roku's that is the biggest streaming device out there that for TV is Roku.
I was on a podcast, and they were, especially on the K-Cast, they were talking about that too, where, almost everybody has a Roku of some sort.
Yeah. I mean, even my
I'm
mother-in-law
guessing
has
it's probably
Roku.
like Roku is big, HBO is big. HBO says like, we want this, and Roku's like, nah, we don't need you, and then so they're gonna fight for a little bit until eventually we get
We'll
it
get
out.
eventually.
So
It'll get worked out.
yeah, so well, and what I did was I had to hook up the Apple TV, which I don't use anymore, and it's like, okay, now I have a HBO Max, but I hate the
Are they
remote.
on any of the consoles?
Yes, they're on every
HBO Max
console.
app?
Yep, it's on
Oh, I should go on. I could go
Xbox.
to my Xbox.
It's
then.
even
I should
on.
just do that. I didn't think of it.
It's even on this TV. It's on this. The app is on this TV right here, but
Yeah.
it's not on my Fire Stick. It's like
It's just since my TV is a Roku TV, it's nice to not have to like boot up another thing to like go into the stuff I want to watch.
Yeah,
so.
And we just got it to where everything is on the Fire TV now, except that. So now it's like now I got to dredge out the Apple TV just if we want to watch a movie or if we want to watch whatever else. Which honestly, I mean, if you're a moviegoer, HBO Max is great. There's not a lot there right now. I'm looking forward to the Perry Mason show when it comes on, and it doesn't come on till the end of the month. But,
well, like when I was just scrolling through all the content and bookmarking it, and then you go through like your list, it'll have a little thing that says if it's HBO or not, and like half of it was HBO stuff still, so I could get it on the Now app even if I wanted to.
Yeah, I don't know, it's weird. It's I thought there would be more DC stuff on there from the. I thought maybe I was going to be able to cancel my DCU account, but I'm not.
My suspicion is that they will get that stuff there eventually, but they're wanting to space it out so that they can have the splash of look, this is now here.
Well, and
but who knows?
I had read about that, and the only reason that like Doom Patrol showed up on there was because they really, really, really wanted to do a season 2, but they couldn't justify the corporate couldn't justify spending the money on it if it was just on the DCU app. So they put it on the HBO app, and then they said, okay, now you're getting more in front of more eyes. We'll do a season 2. And I think that's what they're going to try. They're going to end up having to do with a lot of it. Is like, oh, well, we wanted it more for, we want better ratings with it. We want more views. Okay, well, now we can put it on both, and then we'll get another season of something out of it. I don't know. I hate paying. I don't know. Ever since AT&T bought Warner Brothers, it's the biggest cluster I've ever seen. It's like, how do you not know how to run something like this? It's not hard.
You can make money without even thinking.
Yeah, all you got to do is just put everything on here and do it, and more people would buy it. But nope, because I mean, DCU is only, I think it's like $8 a month. It's like if you say, okay, we're doing away with the DCU app, we're moving it all to HBO Go. It's $15 a month. Everybody would go, well, okay, I want that plus HBO. Sure, I'll pay the. But I mean, why do that when you get somebody like me who ends up paying the $15 for HBO Max and the $8 for the DC to watch the DC stuff? So I don't know. It's weird. And the whole thing with the Fire TV really just made me want to cancel it day one. It's like, that's aggravating. But
they'll get it worked out. They have to, especially for Roku. But I bet for Fire TV, we'll see something too.
I'll give them a month, maybe 2. If I don't hear that there's something on the horizon with it, I'm out.
I mean, yeah, I still have HBO now. I'm still using it, but I'd like to change to Max, but I have 2 Rokus, so I'll go buy another device.
No.
Drag
your PlayStation. Or your PlayStation.
Downstairs, guess.
I don't know if it's on PlayStation 3. I know it's on 4 and Xbox. I know that, but I don't know anything else. So.
I think I have a Chromecast someplace too, a first gen.
Golly, I don't even know where my Chromecast is at. I have one. It's in a box somewhere, I suppose. I don't know. I have a lot of stuff. It's like my brother. I was talking to my brother the other day. He's like, my PC doesn't work. I said, well, it quit connecting to the monitor. I said, well, if you were here, he's got a 10-year-old PC. I'm like, I got an old graphics card that'll go in it, but you're 500 miles away. I've got this cable that might work with it, but you're 500 miles away. It's like, I keep all this stuff, but you're 500 miles away. It's like, I have boxes out in the garage just full of old cables from like 98, 99 for chargers for phones that I don't even own anymore. It's like, why do I keep this stuff? It's just
like, I need it. Like,
apparently, that seems to be the thing. Every once in a while,
you say that, but then you never do.
No, I never do. I just keep it in the garage in a big old tote and then move it around all the time.
Why do I keep old 1 and 2 gigabyte SD cards around? I don't know. Oh wait, I recently discovered if I want to tinker with Swiss on the GameCube,
You have to
You
have
need
it. Mm-hmm.
SD card. I'm like, good. I got a 2 and a 4, which are just regular SD cards. That'll do the trick.
Yep, that's the only reason why I kept them around. So.
Yep.
But that's all I have. Do you guys have anything else you want to talk about before we call it a show?
We talked about the Outer Worlds port on the Switch, and the news was light because it's summer, and there's always a little bit.
Hopefully, we delayed this show a week thinking that, we would have the stuff to talk about with PlayStation, but then they canceled their show, rightfully so, with what was going on in the world that week.
There's a lot of those shows that were coming through where E3 time was about to be right now. So there's that one. There's like the Guerrilla Interactive or whatever they call it. That's the indie showcase one. There's like PC Gamers show has one. There's a bunch of them that have been delayed at least a week, if not more.
Yeah. So
EA had a EA Play or whatever.
Yep, and it got delayed. So
and I didn't realize it until they were all getting delayed how many were supposed to be back to back or overlapping. I was like, oh, I had no idea.
Yeah. So hopefully by the time
first I heard of it.
Yeah. Well, hopefully by the time we do a next show in 2 weeks, some of that stuff will be out. And we'll have some more meat to talk about. If not, we'll just play more games and talk about that, and that's all good. Yep. Everybody enjoys talking about games they're playing, but
that's right.
So all right. Well, thanks a lot for listening, guys. Like I say, if you want to join us live, follow us on Twitter at GL_podcast. That's where I try to put it out 4 or 5 hours before we go live to let you know what day we're doing shows. Schedules may be shifted around. Robert is coming back at some point, and we're going to keep Dennis around because we like him so much. So we could rip that tape off the screen there and keep it permanently.
I get a permanent name tag.
Yeah, I know, right?
If we thought about it before now, we probably could have made it. It's just I forgot that it was taped because I keep forgetting to look at the actual live stream when we do it.
Yeah,
it's like
it's like whatever. It's fine. It's no big deal.
We should just make us all have tape.
Yeah, then we could just move things around. I'm fine with that. Yeah, that's all good. But
because we're all a little broken inside.
Yeah.
Robert, banana person again instead of his picture just there with the Microsoft.
Well, I mean, we could have done that today. I mean, I could have just made it the banana guy there until he comes back.
Robert, another host.
Yeah, that's.
Hi.
I'm thinking he should be back as long as he gets his laptop. As long as Hawaii is getting regular shipments of stuff, he will eventually be back. But we've got to work out time zone things, so we may actually shift things to a Saturday. I don't know. Well, we haven't nailed any of that stuff down yet, but we will figure it out when the time comes. So like I say, if you just follow us on Twitter, you'll know when changes like that happen because we'll tweet it out. But if, like I always say, though, if you just get the podcast on the feed, you'll get the podcast when you get it. So it's not something you have to worry about. It'll just pop up at some point. So, but all right, guys. Well, thanks a lot for listening and hanging out with us, and we will catch you all in a couple weeks.
See you later.